Welcome back to Thinking Caps. And this week, what can marketers learn from the Hellion dog adoption site that went completely viral? Let's find out. Rich, a swearing dog, a Hellion dog. What's going on here? This is your show. Lead me.
Yeah, so it's really, really interesting and a bit of fun. You know, a bit light-hearted fun. Front page article of Ad Age. So what is a Hellion a dog adoption site doing on the front page of Ad Age? Well, let me give you a little bit of context. So this is a lady called Christine Clowder, and she launched an unusual website in early July to basically beg dog lovers to adopt her Hellion foster dog, Hank, who was, by all sounds of it, a bit of a handful. And it was, you know, one could say a bit of a shot in the dark. But this lady is a former social media manager and marketing director, and she harnessed her professional skills. And let's face it basically seized the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it went everywhere. So she knows what she's doing.
She does, yeah. And it's pleaseadopthank.com. And it's emblazoned with the petition, please adopt this Hellion. That's the focus of the site. And it is a very, very funny site. Now, some of the site's dog jokes are obviously dog related. You know, I chopped his balls off because nobody needs to be subjected to any of his hell spawn. Yeah, some political. He has so much energy, Governor Abbott called us to see if he could plug the Texas power grid into him.
Oh, no comment there.
No, and a great majority of it simply is musings of what is essentially a very tired woman looking after this dog. You know, we're all tired of Hank, not because we don't love him, we're just tired. It's like he drank all of her coffee, and she goes on and on.
Cool. Well, look, when you get to the homepage, you'll see that it basically chronicles Hank's original story here, which involves him launching himself unexpectedly into the back of Clowder's car a few months ago outside of a Red Bull factory. But really, and that's obviously a play on his hyperactivity through Red Bull.
It wasn't really Red Bull. It was actually just a...
Yeah, so really, like, if you look in the FAQs there on the site, it wasn't a Red Bull factory. It's just some Houston Industrial District, buildings. It's kind of cool.
But what seems to have really captured headlines at sort of a number of major news outlets is Claudia's use of strong language. So, for example, Hellion foster dog gets hilarious adoption site filled with F-bombs, reads a feature on HuffPost. People magazine declares Houston woman creates comical expletive-filled adoption page for a Hellion foster dog, Hank. And then the New York Post writes foul-mouthed foster mum seeks home for Hank, the Hellion rescue dog.
So clearly the use of Clowder's, expletive-filled language is intentional here and supposed to be funny. And the website's rhetoric is really tailored to the dog's tireless energy, weeding out potential adopters and, who actually are not going to adopt Hank. But here's an excerpt of actual one, like, kind of trained. That's the heading there. He knows basic commands such as sit, down, shake, and why are you so fucking mental? Stop chewing on that and get in your fucking kennel. Now, that's funny. I get it, and I can relate to that.
I can relate to it because I actually have a new cat that was, it was advertised as a very playful female kitten. Turns out when we got it back, not only was it crazily playful, like lunatic playful, it also had some rather large testicles. A bit of mis-selling there. I mean, we love the cat, but wow. I mean, I did have one eye on this site thinking, well, at least I could find a good home.
Well, look, the truth is funny, and you found your truth, and you related to it.
Now, in the article, Clowder tells Ad Age that several foster dogs have actually gotten adopted using similar methods, which gave her the idea. Prancer the demonic Chihuahua is one that comes almost immediately to mind, she says. Look, they used it's a very funny site. You can see here there's some of the stuff on the Facebook post that was used for this demonic Chihuahua, but they didn't use the F-bombs that Clowder did in her site.
So Clauder goes on, and had originally considered following in Prancer's paw prints here by creating a similarly worded Facebook post, but her marketer's instinct kind of kicked in and thought the better of it. And she said, "It's hard to track the metrics and ROI for a simple Facebook post. So I decided to just go out and utilize the skills that I had to create a website for him." She also points out that while the people who are plagued by negativity, they're really just trying to embrace the positive and playful news, some cuteness to distract themselves here. So
Now, what can marketers learn? I think that's the important thing out of something like this. And I do think there's a few serious points that we could talk about. In a world of fake news, of relentless spin, of looming climate disasters, of an increasingly polarized and fragmented society, not only is something like please.hank.com a welcome distraction, it's also, it uses this humorous authenticity of the voice, right, that grabs your attention. It's not playing by the normal convention of what one would expect an adoption site for a pet to be. And the site has gone viral for that reason, and I think we can all learn from that.
yeah, agree. Look, and I think one of the best things she said in this is trust your instincts, don't read the comments, right? And everyone's going to read their own comments, but you can't let that judge, because look, you and I know this, and we know it well, and we live it. I mean, last year at Signals, we brought in Tommy Lee, a rocker with a bad boy past, and tried to think outside of the box in a B2B
Getting
world.
him to act and do comedy. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
But we pulled it off. But point being is, look, if you try and be safe and you try and please everyone, you're going to fall flat. People aren't going to notice. Yeah, you'll check the box, commercial spot delivered, banner ad created, but this is great. And this is, she went really there, expletives and everything, but you got to push the boundaries. You got to live a little. You got to have some fun. You got to be able to make fun of yourself as well.
Yeah, it's about being able to be brave.
Sure.
I think that's what you've got in this society that we live in, where social media makes disapproval hit you so fast, and it can seem overwhelming. But the reality is there's gazillions and gazillions of voices out there, and some of them are going to be negative. Yes. What matters is the overall numbers. Did the campaign, did the positioning actually generate the results that you needed it to do? And you have to be brave enough to push the boundary a little bit, to take some risks, and then accept that not all the feedback you're going to get is going to be positive. That's just the nature of the world, the social media power world we live in today.
That is. And look, we're taking a risk, and sometimes you fall, but we're not going to fall. I mean, we have a great guest and a great promotional host for our Signals event that's happening starting in October. The character Newman from Seinfeld in some really funny situations that I'm going to tell you, somebody out there watching or somebody is going to be this character, and it's going to hit home, close to home. So
yeah, I mean, it's a parody. It's a comedy on what a terrible marketer might do, bumbling his way through, breaking all the rules, disrespecting privacy.
Left and right,
exactly.
marketing technology. Yeah.
So a bit of fun. I think everybody will enjoy it, hopefully, but not everybody, because that's the world we live in.
Yep, totally. All right, well, this has been another great episode from our new UK office. We'll see you more. This is great. Thanks for bringing this up. We'll see you at Signals, and we'll see you maybe next week.
See you at Signals.
Adios.